Hi, beautiful soul. Welcome back to my channel. This is Venus, and I'm back with another video where we're going to talk all about twin flames, soulmates, divine union, finding the one, all about love and relationships from a higher perspective, from a high level, high consciousness point of view. These are some of the perspectives and channels I have gotten from my own experiences in love, and this has been sitting on my mind for a while. I have been wanting to share this wisdom, I could say, that I have gained from my experiences. And since I'm recording this at the time around Valentine's Day, so I just had this like put strongly on my mind today, and I'm assuming that is why. So, yeah, so I'm gonna be sharing all about everything I have learned, some of my experiences, and hot takes about divine unions and finding your true soulmate and all of that stuff. So, I just want to start off by saying that I think that one of the biggest lessons of growth that I have had in my life were related to being in a relationship. And I have started dating, like seriously dating, like falling in love since I was like 12 years old. And I have done it like, I was consistent with it, like with no breaks. And I am 22 years old today. I mean, in Earth time. Some of the biggest lessons I have learned, and some of the strongest, most powerful like upgrades I have gotten, and up levels within my soul and personality has happened after, profound love connections. Like I've experienced so many like of those intense like soul bonds that you would call twin flame or soulmate or a karmic connection, a divine counterpart. And yes, we can have like so many of those. We don't only have like one soulmate or one twin flame or one karmic. We have so many of those. I mean, it depends on like what lessons you have come here to learn on earth. Me personally, as I said, I feel like I am meant to learn so much about love and like finding yourself within another human being and finding your soul match and all of that. And so that's why I have experienced so many of those so early on. But it wasn't until 2024 that I have truly like experienced that feeling of like finding, like the one, or someone who's like a twin flame, like divine union, you know what I mean? It was so profound and so powerful, and that's because in 2024 it was a year where I have done some intense shadow work, intense healing, and my consciousness has just like really I have up leveled my consciousness and raised my consciousness so much. And I say that I have met the one. I don't mean that I'm with them right now. I am not. I have met the one so many times in 2024. And this is what I'm about to share. This is this is something I have never heard anybody talk about. And I am pretty much convinced that this has been like a high level download that I have gotten from my higher self that completely changed the way I see relationships and love. Which is, I don't think that I necessarily now believe in the one, and I'm not exactly on the lookout for him anymore, them, whatever. And it's because I got to experience the one in so many people within 2024, and not just within 2024. I have come to realize that I have been experiencing the one my whole entire life, ever since I started dating when I was like 12 years old. Because we see this all the time, right? Like they're like, are they the one for me? Are they, like my forever match and all of that? And of course, I mean, people have that, but I'm going to share something so like I'm going to try my best to translate it into words, but what I'm trying to say is I think and feel that the one quote unquote is literally just like God within yourself. Let me explain. So whenever you are um so aligned with somebody to where, let's say that you are a feminine, you embody the divine feminine, you express yourself as the divine feminine energy, right? um, then when you meet a masculine who is exactly an energetic match to the level that you are at, the frequency, the level of consciousness that you're at right now, to where when you come together, it's like it forms the, the yin yang, like you become like you are a match. You know what happens then? You are going to be able to feel that oneness, the one, right? That oneness within yourself, because it's like, I'm not saying that you're a missing piece, right? We are always whole, but we're not always aware of like all that we are. We are here to learn to embrace and embody all that we are ultimately, right? And so we meet these counterparts, whether it's a twin flame, it's a soulmate, it's a karmic. We meet them so that they could hold up a mirror and we can see that version of ourselves that we have not been seeing reflected in another. And that's when you, within that union, you get to experience yourself to the fullest. Maybe not all the time, but within those moments where you are truly experiencing that sort of like love for them, when you get to love them like unconditionally and deeply, that is when you experience the God, goddess essence within yourself, and then you feel that sort of like oneness within yourself. And then you can truly call that person the one, because they brought you back to the oneness of yourself. Now, this can be experienced through so many individuals, right? Like you come together and it's just like you feel this sort of like there's this really intense, strong bond, and it's just like you're dating yourself, because there's this version of yourself that is within them that they're showing you, and vice versa. Especially as a feminine, oh my god, it is so hard to bring this across, but especially as a feminine, if you are like empathetic, if you are like strongly intuitive, if you are psychic, most especially if you are psychic, you're tapped into your psychic gifts, you will be able to feel this so strongly. And that is why usually like women are the first to like usually fall in love, I guess, or experience that unconditional love within a relationship, a connection. Now, absolutely, I'm talking about people who are tapped in, and if you love yourself unconditionally, you know what true, like, divine cosmic love is, okay? And that's when you're able to experience it with another person. So, I'm really talking from a place of like, this is a very high perspective. Like, not everyone would be able to digest this, but this is either going to be like a confirmation for you or an activation. Like you're either aligned with this frequency right now or you're about to jump into it. You may have a different perspective about it that you can phrase in a different way, but if you're listening to this, something is aligned between me and you right now and this message. I think I cannot share about every single experience I've ever had, but I could say that I've had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 connections in my life that just came to my mind where I really felt this so strongly, so deeply. And to make this like I don't know, more tangible, it's when you're with a person and you feel like, you know what, this is the person I see forever with this person. Like they just feel like you're happily ever after, and they just feel like someone you can spend the rest of your life with. At least that's how it showed up for me. And one of them was someone who I was going to get married to eventually, and then that did not happen. So okay, so let's get to that point, which is that I believe that each one of these people ultimately I could have, actually spend the rest of my life with like one of them. Like there exists a timeline where I would have or did, if you believe in past lives and all of that, maybe I did before, because everything is happening simultaneously, everything's happening right now. So but in this lifetime, this is the lifetime where I am really focused on soul growth and on like getting to like 100, where my soul is like, I want to be a grade A student. you know? So I'm not settling for breadcrumbs. I'm not settling for anything less than my highest timeline. So if I had chosen to say get married to that guy that I was gonna get married to, I definitely could see that. I definitely could feel that. I definitely have watched, tarot readings and stuff like that that told me, yes, this is the one, this is your person. It's a soulmate, and I could feel that it's a soulmate, and I had so many signs. One of the signs is that, we had literally like the same birth, um, we had the same parents' names, and something about like there was just so many synchronicities that I have like witnessed within that connection that were ultimately could have led me to believe that this is my person, this is the one for me, right? But at some point my higher self came through, and she just like told me that, which showed up as an intuitive knowing for me, that I need to break this up, this connection. And that happened because I started to do some shadow work on myself, and I raised my frequency. And so here's the thing. So we were an exact like energetic match in frequency, right? And we were like that couple that when you look at them, you're like, that's a power couple. But what happened is that I worked on myself, and then I got up in like my frequency level, right? And so we were no longer a match. And so he was no longer the one for me anymore. He was the one in that timeline that I was in. But then I jumped to a higher timeline, and he didn't follow me. It would have happened if he had worked on himself too, because he was like my twin. And so yeah, like if he had done the work on himself, then we would have gotten to maybe the same level and gotten together. But that wasn't supposed to happen in this lifetime. But ultimately everything is a choice, and it was my choice to up level. It was my choice to choose growth and not stay in that particular timeline. I could have ignored that intuitive nudge and just like kept going with it, but I didn't, and that's when I jumped to a higher timeline. And the thing is, within 2024, I've been jumping timelines my whole life. We do that all the time. Everyone does. Well, the pace changes for people. Some people, like, it takes them lifetimes to do it. Some people, it takes them years. Some people, it's very quick. So for me, 2024, I had been like jumping timelines like all the time. Like I was up leveling a lot, and it even showed up on my physical appearance as well. And so every time I would get to a higher timeline, I was attracting another like high level soulmate connection, and it would be a masculine who, it's like his feminine energy was a match to my feminine energy, and my masculine energy is a match to his masculine energy, again at the level that we were at. And I have again experienced that feeling of the oneness within each one of them. The other three were like all in. The first one was when I was 12 years old. I kid you not. But, and then there was the other one, and then three of them were all in 2024. I have experienced that feeling. And then as as my psychic abilities and my psychic gifts were growing, I started to not even need to like be in the presence of that person to be able to feel it, or like date someone. It was literally one of the twins that I met, the last one that I met, twin, divine counterpart, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care so much about the labels as much as I care about the fact that it's just a high soul level connection, okay? So the last one that I've been in union with, I we weren't, not only were we not dating, he was not aware of it. We were just connected on social media. He was watching my content, I was watching his content. We exchanged very small conversations at sometimes, but a lot of like likes and stuff like that. And I could feel his energy so strongly, and I could literally so clearly communicate with his higher self. And I literally felt myself being in a connection with him, like a cosmic connection. I have experienced two, like, well, I did experience other ones in 2020, actually, where, but I didn't really meet them in my physical. I didn't see them at all. But this time, like, they were in my reality, and I could tell that it was like this person. And I have legit, like, I experienced his energy, and I experienced that like coming together. It was so obvious for me. It was so real. Like, I could live it, I could feel it. Even physically, I could feel it, if you know what I mean. I'm highly clairsentient. And for a while, I was and like my tarot readings, the readings I was channeling, the readings that were coming across my way, were all telling me that this person was the one. And the synchronicities were crazy. Like, I wouldn't be able to put the whole story here, but it was just like impossible not to believe it, not to see it. I think all feminines have gone through this phase of like just waiting for the masculine to come through, because you want to stay in your feminine energy and you're creating. And then at some point it gets to, sometimes it's intuitive messages, sometimes it's just me delusionally creating stories in my head. I'm going to be honest, because there's a thin line there. It's like that Pisces energy, right? Of, are you channeling divine guidance right now, or are you like going to the Lululand, you know? And it's so easy to go to the Lululand when you're psychic, okay? Because in the astral, in the fifth dimension, in the on a cosmic level, the connection was happening spiritually. It was happening. The divine union did happen. But I tapped into it in the physical, and he did not. I thought he did. I believed that he did, because even the way, like, I was kind of telepathically communicating with him, and I would receive messages from like his Instagram stories, or like that would just be exactly an answer to what I asked, or an answer to what I sent, to what I said. And so it was hard not to believe that he was aware of it too. And so, how did I know that? Is at one point I just got tired of like waiting around, and I just like sort of told him. Like, I legit texted this guy, and I was like, I love you. And he was like, what? It didn't exactly go like that, but that was how it went. And that's when I like realized I was the only one feeling it. And this was the second round for me, because at the beginning of 2024, and this happened with the set of eclipses. It was the first eclipse, and then it was the other eclipse. And um yeah, my eclipse knowledge is not that, but never mind. I believe there was an eclipse at the in like March or something, and then there was another one around like September, August, September. But yeah, so in both times, that's what happened for me. Like I kind of like sort of confessed to those guys, and then got like not the response I wanted to get, and that sort of brought me back to like the reality of things, which is that what I was experiencing was only on a spiritual level and it was not actually happening in the physical.